Hello and welcome to Glasgow by Night, our Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition chronicle, where we tell the story of a tight-knit group of vampires, the Night Elements Coterie, and their search for revenge in a city saturated in secrets and flooded with enemies new and old. After a long wait, at last we enter the chronicle proper. This chronicle began life as a group of friends playing Vampire the Masquerade over Zoom during lockdown. Some of us for the very first time. This episode, episode 15, is where we began recording. Do not fear, however, that you are dropping into a chronicle halfway through. This is a good place to take up the story, as Elysium, the meeting of vampire factions under an agreement of peace, which the Coterie will be hosting, is not far away. We have released a number of short videos, and will be releasing more, with which you can catch up on the events and personalities encountered since the chronicle began. Being our first recording, there is an occasional pulsing from my mic. We ask you to bear with it though, as the audio quality does improve as we progress through the chronicle. A wee warning to our audience: Vampire the Masquerade is a game of personal horror, and this chronicle is for mature audiences only. This episode is somewhat graphic, as it contains bloody violence, injury detail, and body horror. Now, let us begin our chronicle, where we find half our coterie, Rose and Malcolm, meeting with the Nosferatu Primogen, Ninian, and his deputy Sarah, beneath the Glasgow Necropolis. The other half, Aud, Happy and Shalva, we find in the chaotic aftermath, having cleared out a drug and prostitution den on the seedy back streets of Govan Hill. Hey guys, okay, welcome to episode 15 of our Glasgow by Night chronicle, of our chronicle Glasgow by Night, and this one is called The Hand We're Dealt. Fate, an end, death. All kindred in the arms of the embrace experience death. The end of that mortal existence, and then the rebirth, the transformation into what they are now. And now a new fate awaits. It's an ironic twist of fate that for immortals, for those that can live forever, the final death comes more often than eternal life, and more often than not at the hand of another kindred, another immortal, and perhaps one you are close to. Jealousy, envy, perhaps cruelty, perhaps rage, or simply business. A matter of inconvenience or ambition can spell the murder of a creature that should never die. Immortal life brings with it the constant fear of murder. How one deals with this threat, how one guards against it, is the measure of the kindred in question. Do you hide from it, camouflaged and invisible so as to escape the predators? Do you withdraw from it, eking out a life away from the threats and dangers? Or do you embrace the game? Play it better than the others. Climb the ladder, coated and sticky from the spilled vitae of others. Stand on their faces and fingers, striving up and up, rung by bloody rung, until finally, blood-soaked and traumatized, you climb clear, and the threats to your life are gone. There are many paths open to you, but the end goal must be survival. To cheat the final death, to cheat fate, to live forever. And with that firmly in mind, let us tell a vampire story.
child. Only the uneducated and inebriated believe in such things.
The French have settled down to an obstinate fight to hamper the occupying forces.
The larger and more splendid its city, the more it is at the mercy of those who may make it their prey.
The nightlife in Glasgow is perfectly safe. They do not exist.
I urge you, at this moment of national emergency,
life should not be carrying on as normal right now.
I don't think there's any way to back out of it now. Elysium is incredibly prestigious. Having a bit of a fight with myself, the exit is right there.
You don't want to be in between me and that.
I gave Happy a promise, and for all my sins, I do try and keep those.
We have a number of provocations to respond to. Is there anybody who's innocent among the company?
We did have a vision that we all died if this goes ahead, remember?
you have to be careful.
I know.
We begin our scene in Govan Hill, home of many immigrants, where we found half our coterie in the bloody halls of number 34 Gartuck Street, having just decimated its inhabitants. The halls are blood-soaked, so I would like all of you that are in Gartuck Street to roll me a rouse check.
Including me,
as the smell of the blood. No, Happy, you can do it. But for Aud and Shalva, the smell of the blood is very thick in your noses right now.
Is that just willpower then?
Just one die on a 6+, you're okay. On a 5 or below, not so much.
Just a D6 or a
D10.
D10?
D10. 6+, you pass.
10.
10, okay, you pass. Shalva?
9.
9.
Oh.
Okay. So you all
Nerves of steel.
nerves of steel, absolutely. You hold the beast at bay, even in a place where you know that you could feed until your heart was content.
Yeah, but scummy blood.
Just as the your final enemy in this house was essentially decapitated, you saw Happy, his eyes rolling back into his skull and him collapsing to the ground.
Yep.
The enemies, it seems, all seem to be dead. However, there are obviously the 3 ladies in the count room, and your friend is obviously is lying on the ground, fitting out.
Head over to him and try and make sure he doesn't smack his head off the floor or whatever.
Okay. So
Yeah,
cradling his head, he fits out. He's in there for a good 30 to 60 seconds. It's a long one this time. There's blood coming from his nose, from his eyes, coming from his ears. You've never seen it this bad. While he's cradling Happy, what are you up to?
Probably to be a mix of, actually, if he's taking care of Happy, Shelby's taking care of Happy, I'm probably basically just turned outwards, like
Okay.
guarding basically making sure that no one takes advantage of us being preoccupied with this.
In that, in the room where you found the kind of ladies, mixing the drugs, and there's a wee bit of conversation, a wee bit of chat in a language you don't understand. It's all relatively chilled. They don't seem to be shocked, but you know they were high as kites when you saw them. The couple of the girls that you met, sorry, there was one boy and one girl, just in the final room. They seem to be hurriedly getting their clothes together, and they essentially make a dash out of the flat.
Yeah, actually, yeah, if I can do that, actually, yeah, I will do it. In fact, I will do that. Probably move in their way in between that and the door.
Okay.
And
we just went out. Sorry, they're not speaking Glaswegian. You can tell from their body language. They just went out.
Yeah.
They're shaking their heads and.
Literally just to hold up a hand, with the thing is that just a moment. Move over, grab a bunch of the piles of cash.
Okay.
Rip up, literally grab a couple of handfuls of them and shove them at each of them.
Their eyes go really wide, and they kind of look at each other. They're grasping it, and they're just you can clearly see they've never seen this much money in that.
Yeah, in fact, with that little bit of slightly mum instinct, I'm searching around the place looking for a bag. Probably the bag the drugs are usually packed into. Paper bag, hold it out and indicate that they should put it in it and hand it back.
Okay, they hand it back. They take the bag, and they have one other little look to each other, and they just kind of shake their hands, and after I've given the money, I'll literally just step aside from the thing and indicate yep, door's open. But you can see that the boy seems very keen to take the bag, but the girl is shaking her head and going no, and he seems to take the message, and he puts the bag down and just kind of thanks you and tries to edge around you. The two of them are just trying to edge around past you and get out.
No fair. If they don't want to take it. But if they don't want to take it, I will literally.
You can see, fear when you see it.
Yeah. If they don't want to take it again, after that point, I've stepped back, and they have step back. They have space.
So they do. They seem to just nod their heads in a kind of submissive thank you, and they eventually leave the flat, trailing blood in their footprints out of the close. So the only other live inhabitants in the room are in the flat now are the three count girls, or mixing girls, as it were.
Yeah, I'm afraid my thought is more actually thinking, could we just leave before they realise anything else has gone on?
You can do what you want.
No, I'm literally sort of looking at Shalva and just kind of looking at Shalva. That's my kind of thought, and I'm thinking, yeah, look, okay. Sit down again, eye on the door. In fact, I'm going to move over and watch my plans to move out and watch the boy and the girl leave and see where they're going. Okay. Essentially, I want to make sure that they're not about to come back. But as far as I'm aware, they're probably going to take their heels and not stop running until they probably reach Edinburgh.
And that's exactly what you see. As you poke your head out of the window that was shot out, you can see them kind of creeping out of the close, and they're leaving their lovely footprints behind. And then, as soon as they come out onto the street, they just bolt to the left down towards Allison Street. They are out of there.
Good. Yeah, keeping an eye. I'm mostly just sitting there keeping an eye on the thing, because someone's going to notice the footprints sooner rather than later. So.
Okay. No problem. Happy, you've come to. You slowly but surely. There's a really harsh pain behind your eyes. You ever had that kind of eye pain where it's just behind the eyes and you just cannot get rid of it? That's how you're feeling right now, but in both eyes. And yeah, it feels like your brain wants to explode out of its head.
Okay.
Did we win?
Yes.
Yes. And then you collapsed. Are you all right? You're bleeding from your eyes, which isn't great.
I think I need to eat something. I think we need to go away from here. Get the paperwork that's in that room, put it into a bag, and let's leave before.
Happy, could you give me a rouse check, please?
Oh God.
The smell of blood is drifting all over this flat.
Yep. That's a 2.
Okay, Happy, you are now at hunger 4.
Oh shit. That's frenzy.
This level of hunger is so distracting. Feeding is all that you can think about, and there's this creeping voice in the back of your head. It's that captain that you let. Well, maybe you didn't let him die, but that captain that died, you tried to warn him.
Are any of these people still alive?
Oh no. Oh, you mean here? There's the 3 girls, the 3 count girls are the only ones still standing.
I mean, dead blood is not going to kill you.
No, but
yeah, it's probably not what you want, but
okay.
Dead blood, it's going to do nothing for you.
Yeah.
In that case, I'm going to go to one of the count girls. The count girl that looks the least spaced out.
Okay, so you stand up and walk through. You can see two of the girls are very young. One seems to be older, in her kind of mid-30s. She seems to be less spaced out, a bit more switched on.
I'm afraid if I see you moving towards the room with them, I'm going to step in the way and just be like, nope, not them.
Need to feed now.
Just drink from her.
Try. I'm literally standing in front of it, standing in between him and the door.
Ask her. She would give it to you.
Shelby's going to check the guys that we've downed. Are any of them still alive at all? Maybe just hanging on? Are they all very, very dead?
We
very dead.
Very murdered them.
They're either missing heads or have various axes inserted in their head, so no.
I won't take much. I'll get permission. I just need to feed.
Ask the Viking. She would give it to you. All you need to do is ask. Take action, Happy.
I'm going to ask. I'm going to roll persuasion, like the oldest one. And I appreciate I don't speak English. Maybe I'm disadvantaged.
Do speak English.
Do speak English, and she doesn't.
She might do. She probably speaks some English if she's here, but whether it's more than enough to explain the intricacies of the situation for informed consent, that I can.
Are you going to just use your normal persuade, or would you like to use your quite phenomenal vampiric powers?
My vampiric powers?
I believe you have quite a few dots in dominate.
Right. I've got cloud memory and mesmerize. Not sure they quite apply.
Mesmerize, you can pretty much order them to do anything.
Well, let's try and do it nicely first. Because I've got persuade victims.
Okay.
Does that give me an additional dot?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. That is pretty much what this situation is, what that's meant for.
So what am I rolling? Persuasion and what else?
Give me your intelligence.
Okay, excellent. 4 dice. Plus, so 7 dice in total.
Yeah, one for your victim, and she don't really speak the language, so I'm going to increase, or I'm going to give her an extra point.
And what is it? 6 and above for a success again?
6 and above for a success. 10 is a critical.
1,
success.
2.
And remember, you're now rolling with 4 hunger dice.
Yep. 3 successes and a 10. So 4 or 5 successes.
Is the 10 on your hunger dice?
It's not.
Okay. No problem.
Which is probably quite good for my long-term survival plan.
So,
seeing
as you don't speak the language, what are you trying to do?
probably just using very, very, very small words.
Okay.
Explain exactly what I'm going to be doing.
You garner from her responses that she's been in this game for a while. She knows what's going on. She looks round at the two girls, and they fearfully make eye contact with her. Then she looks back at you and cocks her head to one side.
I was like, I'd like to think they have just done them an enormous favour, but yeah.
That is, nothing there necessarily says this, and nothing there says that she isn't she's literally pimping them at you right now.
No, it's the older one.
No, she's cocked her head. Yeah, she's.
All right, for this thing.
I wouldn't take it from one of the ones who didn't like offer. No, in that case, I bite the older one.
Okay.
I'm not taking everything, but I'm going to take it down to level 1.
Oof. Okay. You know you could just finish her, right?
I do, but I'm not that person, so I'm not going to.
You could be yourself.
I am myself.
Just for one day.
Covered in everyone's blood. And I can probably just do her.
As you sink your teeth into her, Aud, you see her eyes roll into the back of her head, and she's obviously enjoying the experience. She even turns slightly to the two girls and looks at them. It gets a wee bit violent, shall we say, as the beast starts to take over, and she's pushed against one of the tables, but she's up for it. As you manage to talk or push back the beast to the back of your mind, you withdraw your fangs and lick the wound clean, and she just collapses, folds to the ground.
Right, I have two things.
The other two girls are frozen, essentially frozen.
Well, they're about to become very, very rich. So I said, I have exactly two things I want to do now. I want to go into that room that had the money and the documents. I want to put all the documents I can find into a bag, and then I want to leave.
You want to leave? Okay.
Yes. The police are almost certainly on their way.
Yep.
The walls in these buildings are very, very thin. Everyone's going to have heard what's going on. If they can't hear sirens, we'll hear sirens in about 30 seconds' time.
Okay, so as you leave the room and start packing up the money and documents, the two girls...
I'm not taking the money. The money's for the people left here.
Okay, so just grab whatever paperwork you can. You see the two girls go down to the older woman and try and treat her. Could everyone give me, my character sheets now? Intelligence and awareness.
Character sheets are overrated, Sim.
Just make up numbers.
Awareness, yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm now down at Hunger 1, yeah?
You are indeed.
Okay. So only one of these is on Hunger Dice, as opposed to all 4 of them.
That's right.
2 successes.
What was it? Intelligence?
Intelligence, awareness.
Oh,
also 2 successes.
2 successes, Claire.
Give me a bunch and I'll count it.
Well, that's 17 more than that.
Let's see. So 2 for intelligence.
Awareness is like top of the 3rd column.
Yep. 4 for awareness. It needs to be different from the others. Thank you. 2 successes, one of them a 10.
One a crit, but it's not quite a crit. Yeah, you need two crits to make it a full-on critical. But so 2 successes, that's fine. Okay.
Yep, one of them's a 10. It is not on the Hunger Down.
No dramas. Okay, don't need to spoil anything at the moment.
Oh God.
Chris, what are you doing? Were you there while Happy was feeding? Or have you been doing other things?
He'll eventually have come through. I've checked all the guys and realised that it was a bit of a moot point. And then he'll just have really been waiting for Happy to finish so they can get the hell out of there.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as Happy is there, it is all right, now we leave.
Yep. Okay. Time we be going.
Yeah, I'm not really coherent at the moment, so just taking all the documents I can find and leaving.
Okay, the two girls are trying to physically pick up the older woman, and the two of them are getting agitated now. They're starting to argue between each other. 2 seconds.
I don't suppose they're speaking any English.
Yeah, their voice. One of them is getting very angry now. They are definitely not speaking English. It's Eastern Europe. You'd assume somewhere in Eastern Europe, Bulgaria, Lithuania. I don't know, one of these places.
Oh,
and one of them is pointing to the ground in the room. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, finish your bit before I wipe the memory.
It'd be a good idea. So one of them seems to be gesturing at the ground.
Can I have a look at the area of floor where she's pointing?
And the other is remonstrating. You can see quite a upmarket rug. It covers most of the floor, but it's not a carpet.
Can I move that rug?
Yeah, okay. So you whip away the rug to expose a trapdoor. You'd say roughly about 1.5 meters by 1.5 meters. There's a very crude handle there, which you can curl your hand down and open it, should you so desire.
Which is what I'll be doing.
Okay, you open it up, and you can see there are stairs leading down into a very dark and dingy basement.
Well,
This isn't good, is it?
So into the basement we go. Okay, so you step down into the basement, I assume quite cautiously.
I'm trying to be quiet about it as well.
Happy days. As you take a step down, you can see it's quite an open plan basement. In the far corner, straight ahead of you, there is a guy. There's a guy sitting on what looks like a computer chair in front of a desk with a laptop and stacks of cash. And he has turned. He is facing you, sitting in the chair, and he's sitting there with a sawn-off shotgun underneath his chin, pointing at you. To your right-hand side, you can see what looks like a row of cells, basically, where there are various young men and women locked in these cells. You reckon there's about 8 people there, and they're all. No one's sleeping. Let's put it that way. Their arms are up against the bars, and you can see that their eyes are wide with fear. And as you're coming down the stair, they're all moved to the back of the cells, trying to get away from the danger.
Shalva's going to put his hands up and stop moving, and look at the guy and just say, "Easy, easy."
You don't know what you've done. Sorry, I'll put in an accent. You don't know what you've done.
Oh, please.
Well, whatever it is, I'm sure that blowing your head off isn't going to improve it.
Better than the fate that awaits me.
Oh well.
That's fair enough when you go there.
Is that literally your words?
That's right. We'll let blow his head off, and then we'll free these people from the cells. I mean, let's be honest. If he doesn't blow his head off, he's going to get ripped to pieces.
Do you people know who you're fucking with?
I'm sure we've dealt with worse.
I'm not sure we care.
Look, either you can
I get this up the stairs yet? I was paying a lot of attention to stuff. I was being prepared to grab Happy off if he wasn't showing any signs of.
Yeah, I think you've. Yeah, you can hear what Shalva is going through down there, and outside the flat, you can hear tires screeching to a halt.
Do we hear sirens?
I think.
No sirens.
I'm looking. So I will walk down essentially to go. Shalva, we need to go, and then I'm going to see this.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to release these people from the cell.
You can see the man's eyes react. His eyes go wide and his pupils dilate. There's nothing but
Oh,
fear.
That's probably fair because this is the point at which I'm probably going for him.
Right. You two release the mule from the cells. I'll deal with Tweedledum and Tweedledee in the car.
Aye. While she's going for him, Shalva will head towards the cells to start, letting them out if he can.
Are you just diving down the stairs and running at him?
Yeah, I'm literally taking in the cells, taking in him, and literally just going. Oh well. out in sheer proper vampire fangs out and fury.
Do you know what you've done? Do you know who that is?
Do we fucking care?
Yeah, so I'm gonna cast Daunt.
Oh, well, right, okay, you can see his hands just starting to shake. You can see that his body is very different. You can see he's breathing, but you can see his body is very different. His ears are pointed. He seems to be, he has claws, almost sharp-looking claws. Bear with me, I'll see if I can find a photo of this guy.
Have we managed to find werewolf sex traffickers?
I don't think they're werewolves. Might be rat people?
Changing them?
Tastes like rat, talk like people.
So this is the guy, as you can see, topless, much like you, Mr. Happy. But he's clearly mortal. He's clearly mortal, but his body is different. You'd expect to see these kind of changes on, a not so savage Nosferatu, for example. But his body has clearly been changed.
Probably some kind of flesh crafting. Not that Shalva would know that.
Yeah, I get to. So yeah, I have Dawn up and I'm walking toward
No.
Talk.
Right. Could you give me what discipline are you using for that? Sorry.
Yeah, I wasn't using it. I'm literally just using Daunt and saying it without using it. Daunt is, remind me what Daunt. Daunt is.
That's something we all have for free.
So this is presence. Yeah. If you could give me your presence and intimidation.
That is 3 successes, one of them a 10.
Nice.
One of them a 10. So 3 successes, that's fine. Right, he will not remove this shotgun from his chin, but he says, "You don't know what you've done.
Keep saying that.
You've awoken the dragon."
This is the part I'm literally leaning right forward until my nose is almost touching his, and just whispering, "I eat the dragon."
And he pulls the trigger.
Good celerity.
And we return to the Glasgow Necropolis. Home to 37 acres, 50,000 souls are buried there. Only 5,000 memorials grace the surface.
That's why the ground is so much higher than it used to be.
I was wondering.
Into beneath a relatively, what seems to be a well-used crypt. Ninian stands.
Yes. No.
It's descriptive and accurate. So Rose, you've just sat down at a table, which again, it's that kind of 1930s style. You can see it's green felt, but on the place where you're being asked to, the place in front of you, you can see that there is distinct bloodstains on the table, and you can see cut marks on the table as well. Sarah, having just removed her bandages and revealing her putrid, postulant face, stares you directly in the eye and says, "Put your hand on the table."
Would you prefer my left or my right?
Whichever you wish. You hear Ninian behind her going, "Sarah!" Sarah turns to him and says, "This is how it must be done."
I'll put my
Put your
left hand down.
Okay, you place your left hand on the table, and as you know, her left hand is covering the tarot cards, and her right hand sits on top of a machete that she's been sharpening.
Okay.
With a flash, her left hand fans out the tarot cards in front of her. In front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight we do a reading. Now, to define how accurate our reading will be, we sometimes have to give a bit of ourselves to the table and to the fates to
I get to choose what bit for.
to find out what lays ahead. You will not be alone in this. Will you?
I'm guessing that's what the bandages are for.
No, all the bandages are just covering the kind of pus and pustules across her face. She lays her own hand on the table. We must give to the table to get a better reading. Will you bleed with me, sister?
Yes, I will. What?
It's your blood.
It's blood magic. That's your deal.
I know. I won't bleed you.
Uh-huh. So yeah, I
She turns her own hand up and left and cuts across her palm and lays it down on the table and starts to smear the blood onto the table. She takes your hand in hers and staring straight into your eyes, slowly drags the machete across your palm, and the vitae slowly
want to try and maintain eye contact with her
oozes to
while
the
she's doing
surface.
that.
Okay, can you give me I need your resolve for sure.
What? Okay.
And where are we? Rose, where are you? Resolve and performance, I think. This is performance.
Ooh! Well, that's good. Resolve, not so great. That is 3 successes.
3 successes. You keep your poker face. It's almost like smiling during a dance. You know you have to keep it up. You don't flinch. You don't make a single move as the pain from the machete racks through your body. So she's smeared the blood into the table as before. Are you doing the same in front of you? Excellent. She wipes the machete on her sleeve and places it back onto her right hand side. So let us find out about you. You will draw 3 cards. One for past, one for present, one for future. And once we are done, we will draw for your fate.
It's exciting.
Draw for the past.
Okay. I will pick one of the cards from the deck. I have a tarot deck lurking somewhere.
We have a couple, actually.
We have a few. We have a vampire tarot deck.
Tough nuggets.
So your first card, are you just flipping over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, the devil.
Well, that's exciting.
The devil speaks of temptation. Perhaps addiction. Well, there has been something in your past which you gave in. You were perhaps weak. Or perhaps there was a devil in your past.
I think more of the latter.
A he, a she?
He.
He was addictive? Seems like he's still with us.
There's a little bit of two people in there. One of them is still with us. The other one, not so much.
One you gave into and the other you dealt with. Addiction, temptation, they are hard things to let go of. Lessons, there are lessons to be learned from your past.
Right.
And I would hope that you have learned them going forward. However, the fact you have given in once before implies that perhaps you may give in again. We move on.
Okay. I will flip over. This is the present, isn't it?
This is present, yeah. The Five of Swords. Of the minor arcana, but what do you think this represents?
5 swords. There are currently 5 members of my coterie.
Could well be. The bully in the front of the card, he holds 3 swords. But 2 swords lie on the ground.
We have also lost 2 members of our coterie.
You've lost 2. This perhaps could be the 2 fools in the background walking away. Perhaps fools is too strong a word, but they are leaving this conflict. For this card is nothing but conflict. War, battle, change.
Maybe for the better, maybe for the worse.
It is not a good fight. And it is a battle that may perhaps end in defeat. Or indeed, if it is a victory, it may well be Pyrrhic. Empty.
Cost of the victory.
If we were speaking of love, I might say that you were in somewhat of a one-sided, we would call it abusive relationship.
Again, not necessarily inaccurate. But I know of someone else who is.
Now, let us see the future.
And there was another one.
The Empress. A card of fertility. You were a mother once? Have you ever had child?
No, certainly not while in life, and I don't believe I've not got any, children in darkness or anything along those lines.
Very strange. I see. I'm seeing a child in your future.
That will be interesting.
But that cannot be.
No, I don't think that's possible.
Hmm.
Unless it's talking about I become somebody's sire, maybe?
Perhaps this is it.
I mean, I have been a protective motherly figure to some of the dancers in the club, but none of them are mine.
Perhaps. The emphasis is often the very visage of the perfect mother, the ideal mother. Yes, those that looks after her children. But I see very strongly a child in your life. But we shall see. We shall see. If I were to talk business, I would say the emphasis was a good sign of starting new projects, as it were. Initiating,
fertility, prosperity.
Yes, worth of new things, and much abundance. I would say for this, the future, this is a good card. Now, to fate.
Okie dokie. Another one.
Mr. Corvin?
Yes.
You are of the Tremere, I understand.
Correct.
You may have heard there is one ritual in which you can walk through fire. This is true.
Yes.
Do you wanna check?
Sorry, Ben is unfortunately abusing the fact that he memorized half the book half the time. So yeah, I only got occult 1.
Oh, interesting. Okay, intelligence and occult, please.
You need more occult, sweetie.
Difficulty. You do.
I do. So that is a 10 and a 9. The 9 is not messy.
Okay, so
the 10 is not messy.
You know there is a fire walk. There is a ritual called the Fire Walker.
Yeah.
But you are not 100% on how it works.
I have heard of the ritual. I am not familiar with it personally.
I saw it performed once, and it shook me to my very core. The sorcerer took a small hatchet and lopped off his own fingertips. Ground them into a paste, and after consuming this, he was able to walk through fire. You know, he gave of himself to achieve incredible things.
Is that not the nature of all magic?
Her hand twitches ever so slightly on her machete. Now, moving on to the fate card.
I would like my fingertips to stay intact. I do have an Elysium to run tomorrow.
Unfortunate. But perhaps wise.
I will flip over.
She slams her hand down. She slams her hand down over yours before you flip it over. The fate card is. You should think very strongly before turning that over.
Okay.
And
I'll put the card back, put the card on, flatten the card back out onto the table and stop and lift my hand back.
Okay. Once again, I would ask for your blood for a more accurate reading. Would you bleed with me on this card?
I've not really cleaned up the blood that was there before particularly.
Okay.
So
She grabs your hand, so both of your vitae is mixed together, and she squeezes it really tight. If you could give me your resolve and performance again, please.
5 dice in total. Yes.
Are you really sure you need your fingertips? Come on, you know.
I do like
really
having
your-
fingertips.
What are you gonna do?
It would ruin my manicure. Very important.
Well, it depends. The actual tip of fingers or the.
Oh, that's good. That's 4 successes and a 10. None of the successes were on my hunger dice. I had 5 dice.
Brilliant. You're absolutely meeting her gaze, and in the back of your mind, you feel you're ever so slightly dominating this situation, in that you're showing no fear and no pain. As she's gripping her hand in yours, you can see her fangs ever so slightly exposing just for a second, and from around you, you can hear crawling and skittering and wriggling as from out of the walls crawls every manner of insect and creature that you would expect to find.
I'm having images of like Lord of the Rings when the Nazgul's like lurking over the tree root where the hobbits are hiding and all the critters are running away. That's what I'm feeling I'm getting.
Well, they are coming from all over, and they're falling to the floor, and they're slowly crawling towards the table.
Like maintain eye contact. Don't. Poker face.
Resolve and performance again.
If this one fails, then we're so fucked. She does not do good when things are so icky.
Bye fingers.
This is very, very ugly, and I want you to remove. You're suffering a penalty here at -2.
Oh, okay. Hang on.
Not -2 dice, just -2 success.
Oh, -2 successes. Okay, sorry. Okay. So that's 4 successes in total, so only 2.
Wow. Okay. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. You hold her gaze. You manage to hold your shit together, in the most ugly environment you think you've ever been.
There is going to be a very hot shower when we get out.
There's about 3 or 4 drips of mixed vitae touch the card, and she slowly releases your grip and stares down at the card. She gathers up the rest of the cards. She cuts the deck in half and places your card onto one half of the cut. She then places the other half of the deck onto that, picks up the deck, and she places it into the packet, as it were. They say in tarot that the most powerful deck is one which is gifted. The card within you can look at your own leisure, or perhaps never. But this card is up to you to review.
Interesting.
She closes the deck, folds it closed, and slides it over to you across the table. Blood's trailing behind her hand. Ninian, we're finished here. She stands up from the table and walks off into another room. The creepy crawlies follow her.
Oh, good.
Take 1 superficial damage for the fun and games.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like you to give me a rouse check as well from the blood you've lost.
I get a 5, so I fail.
Okay, your hunger increases. Rose, call her back. sink your teeth into her neck and drain her dry.
I need information more than I need food right now.
You need blood. You need blood right now.
No, I don't. Shut your face.
You shut your face.
You have a petulant demon on your shoulder.
I do have a very petulant demon. He's another Toreador.
One day, Rose. One day you'll give in. You have before.
That day isn't today.
Tomorrow.
Miss McLeod, have a seat.
I will sit. And gesture of Malcolm to come and sit.
Or sit down.
Okay. Well, I must ask your forgiveness for my sister's rather intense greeting, but she is the way she is.
This embrace affects everyone differently.
This is very true. Very true. Well, you came here for a reason.
I came here looking for some information, if it was at all possible. And I know that the best information brokers are, of course, the Nosferatu.
What you've heard is 100% accurate. And that would depend on what information you're after, of course. Certain things come at a price.
There's two sides of the information that I require. There is some that is more personal to me, and some that is more relevant to my coterie and other things. Do you have a preference as to which I ask for first?
Your requests are entirely up to you.
My coterie has, as you know, recently suffered 2 losses at the hands of the Second Inquisition, as far as we are aware.
I was there for one. And I will forever
Bryce, I believe.
extend my condolences. Yes, our brother.
Bryce was the loveliest.
He was. He was, some might say, the most human of us all.
And while we have managed to take care of the person who pulled the trigger, we don't know any further information regarding the hand behind it.
I see.
And the information we managed to glean from said assassin before he met his own final death was that he and his partner were working out of a police station on the south side. Katrina has forgotten the name, Rose hasn't.
Helen Street.
Thank you. Thank you, voices in my head. In Helen Street.
Yes.
And it's entirely possible that that is where the Second Inquisition is based.
I see.
Part of the information we would like is, what do you know anything about the Second Inquisition of their various doings throughout the city, and why Bryce would have been targeted? We feel that possibly Bryce was not the target. As the man was dying, I felt, when I tasted his blood, I had a vision of a variety. And as he pulled the trigger and Bryce stepped into the crosshairs, it was not a feeling of jubilation of I have succeeded in my goal. It was a feeling of, oh shit.
Yeah.
He was frustrated. He shot the wrong man.
Shot the wrong man.
So the question is, who was his intended target?
Who was the target?
That is the question. You have a point here.
Mhm.
It is near impossible for me to know, if I can help a little. It's near impossible for me to know what his original target was. Perhaps if we had access to our old ShrekNets, maybe we could have intercepted some emails. Fortunately, that is no longer the
Days
case.
where ShrekNet was the shadow in the dark, the electronic dagger at the throat of all Nosferatu enemies are unfortunately past.
Yes, they are.
Now,
Yeah.
painful as it is, we must do things the old-fashioned way.
Or highly illegally.
One or the other.
As you're probably aware, Marcus Ramsey is my sire.
I am.
And I would love to know what his comings and goings are, because I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. And I'm a Toreador, I can't throw anything.
Why such a notable character should appear in the city of Glasgow?
That's one question.
Interesting.
And also he has tasked me with hosting Elysium tomorrow
I see.
night.
Something he's very familiar with.
Mhm.
Okay.
And we're not on the Prince's good side right now.
That's a generalization.
It's very specific, I think you will find. I'm pretty sure we're not.
You've heard
specific
of the
members.
You've heard of the fall of London, of course.
Mm.
All kindred wiped from the city.
Yep.
A god among vampires gone, disappeared.
Come on, Jeff.
Maybe dead. Someone that had held sway across the British Isles for over 3 millennia. An entire culture wiped out. Hundreds of kindred burned to death or exposed to the sun. Well, Marcus was relatively young at the time, but he was an up-and-coming member in said society. And a partner of the god fled to Edinburgh after the fall of London. Some call him Roger de Camden. He is, and he has now taken over the princedom of Edinburgh. Clearly, trying to re-establish some sort of command over the country. Perhaps Marcus appearing in Glasgow is a symptom.
Reaching outwards.
Reaching out, trying to take what they can take.
Mm.
The Camarilla in Glasgow have been rocked to their very core since 1918. Perhaps this is the first stage in trying to scrabble something back, to retain some power. But he has touched the hand of Mithras. He's of very good stock, you could say. And he will carry a great deal of influence, but your sire is, it is fair to say, a player.
This midget.
You have good relations with him? Wait. This is your devil. This is your devil. This man.
He's one of them. He's the one that's still around.
Do we dance with the devil?
The moonlight.
I am a dancer, it's what I do.
So you play on the strings of temptation. A good place to play if you're strong enough. The key is to stay strong.
It is. Or to remove the temptation.
Remove him.
I'll get out from underneath him, one of the two.
You seek to end him?
maybe not end him, but certainly remove his control over what I do and how I do things.
I think this is going to be a hard ask. Not easily done.
It's not necessarily anything I would ask of you particularly. I just wanted to know what his different movements were.
Targeted assassination is something we can do, but we rarely,
of course.
Rarely do.
But so we know that Helen Street is the home of the Second Inquisition, at least, very least in Glasgow, and they had a plan. The people in question that we took care of said that they were going to try and replicate London in Glasgow.
What? Oh my goodness. This would be very unfortunate for those on the surface.
Just a smidgen.
All
of us that are living here currently, living here, so
residing.
We are, like I said, we have taken out the finger on the trigger, but we need to take out the rest of them, or at the very least severely weaken them in some fashion. We don't know when or how necessarily, but
we have removed a pawn from the board. We have not removed the queen, the king, or any of the knights.
We've removed 2 pawns from the board. Let's not, do ourselves dirty.
And the player is very much alive. Well, this could concern every kindred in Glasgow, one would think. But we are fickle creatures that only look out for our own aims. This is very disturbing news, of which we were only partially aware. But this confirmation is very much appreciated, and we shall make contingencies for surviving it. What do you want to do with this? Are you seeking to stop it? Would you like to flee the city? We can provide you with an own underground railway to
stopping it would be ideal.
Or maybe Dundee.
Sorry, just talking about Dundee brings me out in hives.
You always go to Aberdeen, the city of
that's
Grey.
even worse.
So we are seeking to stop it. Would that be fair?
Stop. Prevent. Considering a large amount of my business is founded on being a safe space for kindred, regardless of anarch leanings or Camarilla leanings, I would quite like both of those factions to remain alive in whatever sense that means to them.
And a fine party you throw.
Yes, and able to pay.
Able to give me money, of course.
Resource.
Well, in such case, what would you request of me then?
As much information on the Helen Street police station and the Second Inquisition station there as you can possibly give us. And if you manage to, if during the information gathering you manage to weaken them in some fashion, then that's entirely possible. This Shrek thing that you mentioned? Shreknet. Why is that not
a wonderful, because the Second Inquisition breached it.
I see.
With some help from the kindred in London, but it is gone. And all its fabulous riches and wealth of information gone with it. Oh, we were kings in the information world when it was up and running.
Is there a way? Is there a way for us to rebuild a Glasgow version, even just in a small local capacity?
That would require a great deal of investment. I am sure your nightclub does well, but perhaps not enough
Maybe
to
not
fund,
quite that well.
a worldwide intelligence gathering net. What you ask is very dangerous. Surveilling the surveillors,
Of course.
surveilling the assassins is going to be a hard task. And we kindred are fickle creatures. I will require a major boon of you for such information.
Valid.
And understandable.
Well, it is fair to say that
Have you been invited to Elysium tomorrow night?
No.
What?
Okay.
No.
That's a minimum.
What?
We
Sim,
of the
I'm not sure if the
Nosferatu
figure understands this.
have not been invited to Elysium.
Okay, I don't think
You shouldn't
Katrina
set it-
understands the scale of a major boon.
I'm pointing out that that's
Major-
a minimum.
A major
That's
boon
a
could
part of it.
it's a huge favor owed. So it could be asked to kill someone, or it could be as simple as dancing lessons. You know, it extends to that level of lethality.
Inviting
The
them
way that
to
you
party
said
is
it made
probably
me think
minimum.
that somehow, like, Nosferatu were just not allowed in Elysium because they're icky and gross.
No, nothing like that.
Well, they're not always, but sometimes they're not. Depends how well the Nosferatu have been getting on with the top brass of the Camarilla at the time.
Yeah.
Depends on the personalities, and if they haven't received an invite by now, you can assume they are not invited.
Well, would being present in the club and being hidden so that they can hear a bunch of vampires gossiping be useful? Including the Prince of the Camarilla?
Are you saying in character, or are you speaking to me as a GM?
No, that's in character.
In character. For us to show up and use vampiric powers at Elysium would be a death sentence. It is simply not allowed.
But even just to be...
Well, let's just say an invitation to Elysium would would go some way to fulfilling your
some
major
way.
goal.
That's part of it. Is it? It's
It
useful.
would sweeten the pot somewhat.
Indeed.
But
The cherry on top
let
as
us just
opposed to
say
the
that
main.
I can set my agents to surveilling the surveillors. I can set them to that tonight. It is in all of our interests.
Indeed. The last thing that I want to do is actually ask them what they want, because that's a bad idea.
That's a blank check.
That's a problem. But I can't think of anything else that we can give them.
You can't give them a major boon. Just be aware of the consequences.
And just say that
I will call on you when I require something.
that seems reasonable.
Good. Tonight we have done some great business.
Indeed. And you have a bunch of information.
Is there anything else you require before we part companies?
Not that I'm aware of, Malcolm.
I am fine, thank you.
Well, you know where we are.
Indeed.
You have my number. You have the phones which we supplied you. Thank you for coming down. It means a great deal. Not many come to the necropolis and meet us here, so yes, I appreciate it, Miss McLeod.
No problem at all. And I will see you tomorrow night.
If an invitation makes its way here, you certainly shall.
Can the host
just-
extend things?
At the end of the day, what happens at the door is your business.
even if an invitation does not arrive formally, then you can consider my presence here and my talking to you as a formal invitation.
Well, Miss MacLeod, I appreciate that, and I shall see you tomorrow night. It's been a pleasure. Sarah, oh no, she's gone. You know how to get yourselves out. Needless to say,
yes,
you shall be protected.
If we need to continue going upwards, I believe.
Upwards is a good place to go. You guys, who activated Sense the Unseen? Do you remember at the start when she came down here? Yeah. Okay, so in the various rooms, you can start to see various concealed Nosferatu are starting to create, like, just hover at the door frames, at the various door frames. There's loads of them.
A lot more of you than I thought there was.
Yes. Well, the Necropolis holds 50,000 souls, don't you know?
Curd, and I imagine a large chunk of those are Nosferatu.
Well, okay. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you, Rose.
Thank you. And let's just go back up. The way we came, hopefully.
Just heading back to the club.
Head out and then head back to the club, I think.
No problem.
With all the limbs you came with.
With all my limbs that I came in with, I've just got a bit of an outie.
And fingertips.
Fingertips, they've not ruined my manicure, everything's fine.
Right, so we fly back to 34 Gartuck Street, where the wheels have just screeched to a halt in front of the flat, and your man has just pulled the trigger.
Right, before we go any further, it's like, do we care what they've been doing, or are we just going to kill everyone who looks bad and free all the prostitutes?
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm quite with it. I don't think we're planning. I think we're reacting.
Yeah. I mean,
so
if they've put people in cages, I think by definition we free them.
like I said, I think we're reacting, not planning.
Yeah. I don't suppose you've got any celerity at all.
No, but I'm really, really angry.
It was
okay.
I mean,
so we return to the basement of Gartuck Street, where the man with a shotgun pointed at his chin pulls the trigger, and all you hear is click of the hammer striking the back of a shell, and nothing happening. He stresses all of a sudden, just pulls open the shotgun and just checks
he
shells.
doesn't get a chance. Believe me, as soon as his eyes go wide when he hears the little click, I just lean a little forward further still and smile really, really broadly.
He just starts screaming.
Yeah. Yep, that is the one.
It's one of those constant just
Yeah, and when he starts screaming, I'm literally like pushing him. Is he sitting in front of a wall?
He's sitting on a computer chair, just facing the stairs.
Yeah, but I'm literally like slamming him across the room, him and the chair, like spinning them across the room and up against the wall.
Happy days. So you smash him against the wall, the gun goes flying from his hands.
Yeah.
And he is, are you pinning him up against the wall?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's pinned up against the wall.
Him up.
And he's just avoiding your gaze. He's like, no.
And I'm literally like, again, sort of practically like right in his ear, I'm whispering practically in the face, look at me.
He meets your gaze.
Me. And talk.
Okay. You're going to need to roll me something here, Claire. Do you have Dominate at all?
Don't think so. Let's double check.
That's a bit messy.
Not a lot of those things. Not a lot in terms that's probably appropriate in terms of discipline. Bond formula side.
Well, you've got
them are going to do that.
You got some intimidation there. So give me.
I do have intimidation.
Don't you have Daunt up?
I do have Daunt up.
Yep, Daunt is indeed up.
Yep, Daunt and Intimidate. or select or protein intimidate. Could I have one more, please?
Yeah.
Oh, here they are.
Yeah, protein.
That is actually not even a single success. I can spend will to re-roll that, can't I?
You can any non-hunger dice. You can re-roll up to 3.
That's fair. I've got 100. That's cool. Then I'm spending. Is it 1 point of will or spending a
1
point of will
willpower to re-roll 3 dice. Okay.
To re-roll 3. That's better. 3 successes.
3 successes. Right. Okay. He's just like.
Oh no! Wait a minute. A 5. No, sorry. 2 successes. A 5. So.
Yeah, 5's fail.
5's fail. Sorry. 2 successes.
Okay. He's looked into your eyes briefly. What do you want to know?
You told me we don't know what we've done. Tell me.
He turns slowly around to you and meets your gaze this time. You don't know? This is the dragon's territory. You're so fucked. Guys, you can hear footsteps in the coming from the close.
That's the point where literally I'm just extending two of the things where I'm going, little man. I was killing like little man. I and mine killed dragons before your kind even drew breath.
Well, this is all going on. Shelva's trying to get these cages open to help people get out.
Okay, the cages again. The chains and the locks on the cages are no match for your strength. You just rip them open, no problem at all. You can see they're all young. They're all like under 20, but over 16. And yeah, they're clearly not been in the finest of health. They've clearly had some drug abuse. You can see track marks up their arms.
Do I know what he is?
He's clearly human. He's clearly mortal.
Right, so he's a mortal that's had some weird shit done to him rather than...
Yeah, he's either a mortal that's had weird shit done to him, or he's a ghoul. One of the two. That's also had weird shit done to him.
Would I know how to tell a ghoul by... Is there a way that I can tell a ghoul, or is it just by... Or is it just something...
I don't think you can. Forgive me, I'm going to rule that you can't, because I think ghouls appear mortal.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
If they were to show some sort of preternatural strength or some superior healing ability, then I would say yes, you can tell. But just on appearance, I think all you can tell is that they're mortal. But for someone, perhaps for someone to have something done to them like this might imply a far stronger relationship with a kindred. Than anything else. This isn't just like body modification, this is something else.
No, it's something weird and supernatural.
Okay, he's slowly losing his breath. Sorry, Shalva, as you're freeing the prisoners, you can see you just catch a flash on the laptop of him. It's clearly some sort of accounts, like spreadsheets, and that kind of thing. There's stacks of notes in the basement as well.
As in money?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
We should probably grab the laptop.
Okay.
Shelva's going to take it.
Okay, so you grab the laptop. The guys that you've freed from the cells, they are running upstairs.
Yep.
And they're just grabbing like loads or anything on the way.
So they might as well help themselves to the cash.
Cool.
They might be too scared, but
yeah, they're just booking it basically. I think one of the 8 grabs a stack of notes and starts running out.
Well, Happy, shall we go and see who this is in the car? Well,
I've been upstairs the whole time.
yeah, I think you.
He's calling up to you and he's
Yeah, I assumed that was you, kind of.
Happy, you can hear some very heavy footfalls walking up the close.
I think we're about to have company, guys.
Alright, come in.
Okay.
So I shove the books upstairs.
So if you head up the stairs, you can see at the front door, they're all the kind of, let's call them slaves, are filing out. And all of them seem to do fine, and then all of a sudden you hear a brief, high-pitched scream, and then a relaxation for a couple of seconds, and then all you hear is a body slump to the concrete.
Okay, I'm going to go out into the close, and I'm going to open the back door for them, and I'm going to try and get in between him killing the next one and them.
You step out into the close, and you see something.
Shava will also be heading out.
I suspect that Ed is also on casually throwing this guy against the wall and coming out afterwards. Wow, she's so fucking furious.
So walking up the close, you see these two walking up the close. The guy on the top has just finished draining one of the slaves that has collapsed to the ground. The one on the bottom has a trench coat on, and as they remove the trench coat, you can see his jaw starts to distend, and beneath his two regular arms, you can see a further two arms coming out from his torso.
Yep.
Does he look as snake-like as that picture? Does he actually look as snake-like as that picture makes him look, or is that just
Yes,
kind of
he's
lighting?
very, very, very serpentine, and you can see there are some traces of scales across his skin as well.
Do we have any idea who these are or what's going on?
I don't think you definitely have not encountered these two before.
Can I roll my occult for any of this?
Yeah, you can indeed.
I've got really high occult. So it's occult and intelligence, isn't it usually?
I'll give you. Hold on a second. Where are you? Yeah, it'll have to be intelligence, mate. Yeah.
Cool. That's all right. I'm not that dumb. That is 5 successes. One of them a crit.
Okay, that's not too shabby.
Been around a while.
I think you have. And old recognizes old. This guy with the scales and the and the very creepy looking skin, and you know the minor point of those 2 extra arms that he has. He's very, very old, and he's very, very powerful. There's something in the eyes that says he's been around more than a few centuries.
I don't care. Still going to be dead very soon.
I am so fucking angry that yes, I think that I'm not currently at home to Mr. Anything for that is anything other than well. I'm looking forward to seeing that old blood congeal on these flagstones finally.
Yeah.
Oofed. Okay, no problemo. So, Happy, you're first on the scene. What are you up to?
Well, my initial instinct is, get between these two and the line of people we've just freed.
Okay, it looks like some of them have made it out past them.
Good.
There's one woman you can see is dropped to the floor, completely unconscious, dead. You don't know her. She's very still. There's another 2 that are between you and those 2 guys. And they are turning around and looking for the back door.
Good.
And so they're now running past you.
Good.
Yeah.
In which case, I'm going to launch myself at the one who looks like
the two of them look at you, and they mouth something in some random Eastern European language, and I need you.
This is going to be hell.
It's all going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Well, let's look at some initiative. So if you give me, just roll your dexterity.
Yep.
Tell me how many you get.
Is that all of us or just Taffy for now?
Just happy for now.
Dexterity. Just dexterity?
Yeah.
Put it into me.
Well, I have 2 dice in dexterity, and I got a 1 in both dice.
Okay.
Oh no!
1 in both dice.
Jesus.
Okay.
Oh,
Right. Well, what the hairy one, shall I say, the one with the beard, is now. He stares you straight in the eye, and he holds up his hand, and he issues a command. Now, I need you to roll your intelligence and resolve.
Intelligence for resolve.
Intelligence and resolve.
Okay, so 1 hunger dice just now. Okay. 4 successes, including 2 criticals.
4 successes, so 6 successes in total. Okay.
Why did I get the first? It's not enough.
It seems so rational to you, and it seems so simple that, of course, you should protect this man. Of course you should. This is clearly his place, and what you should do is look out for him. And it seems so simple. In your mind, this is absolutely what you should do. You turn yourself back towards the front door of Garturk Street. In fact, cancel that. Tell you what, Happy. Do you want to re-roll any of your dice? You've got your willpower, of course.
I was going to say, you got some willpower in here. Would you like to do?
Again, if your 3 dice are successes on the normal dice, then is it worth it? Is the question.
Let's see. Yeah, so I can. So I've got 1 point in hunger.
You can re-roll 3 normal dice.
I can re-roll 3 normal dice. So I can re-roll that one. I can actually re-roll 3 dice. So I'll spend a point of resolve, spend a point of willpower, and.
So is that 3 failures, basically?
Yes.
Okay.
I do get an additional success.
Oh, you bastard. You're on the verge, the absolute verge of protecting this man with your life. But something at the back of your head says, wait, hold on a second, I've got my 2 friends back there. And you managed to resist it.
Excellent.
However, you've just caught a little glimpse into the power of these 2 individuals.
Freaking terrifying.
And there's a lot of power going on there, a lot of age. Okay, next, who have we got? Shava, you haven't asked in a while. What would you like to do?
Do you want me to roll initiative or anything, or are we just going for it?
No, that's kind of a separate combat at this stage because you guys are totally out of the picture.
Well, I was stepping out into the corridor just after Happy.
Yeah, I think Shab.
They're all there.
Course, right. In which case, yeah, give me your
I'm still
dexterity.
at least a turn behind those guys, but they're.
Yeah, that's fine. Excuse me.
Very powerful. Use weapons.
That's 2 successes for initiative.
Lucky I brought my good
2
axes.
successes. Okay, no problem. So you have essentially seen Happy just for a second go all doughy-eyed. And then all of a sudden he just kind of gathers himself.
Okay, so which of these 2 is closest to us?
The guy with the beard. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go for him with a cookery.
Good call.
I think I've still got tokens up, if I remember correctly.
I think you do, absolutely. This is technically the same scene, absolutely. So yeah, give me your strength and brawl.
Will do. 4 normal successes and 2 10s.
And 2
so
10s.
6 in total.
Holy shit.
Aye.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, he makes, again, it's clear that he has seen it coming. So he makes a bit of an effort to kind of sway out of the way, but you just catch him right across the jaw,
it cuts a hole through his cheek, exposing his teeth, and the vitae just sprays to the floor. He is pissed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beer.
So the four-armed creature in the back is there, and then all of a sudden he's not.
Oh fuck.
You're down in the basement.
I will been coming up this. When I heard the footsteps coming, I threw the guy away basically and was coming up the stairs. So I'm probably like.
Okay.
I'm probably like foot on the stairs, but foot on the stairs or coming up into the main room, whichever you think is more likely in the time frame.
You feel something burst past you. It catches you right in the shoulder and pushes past you. Pushing you back, your back flies against the cell doors, and all of a sudden, looking over to your right, where you've thrown this guy, this four-armed apparition is all of a sudden standing above him, and he's shouting Eastern European something at him, and he's just about to raise his foot to stomp him in the head, basically. What would you like to do?
I would like to call him a cow. I would like to scream at him in Old Norse, and call him a cowardly misbegotten son of Loki.
Okay. This is in. Are you trying to distract him? Is that essentially what we're talking about here?
I've kind of stopped thinking about that guy the guy there entirely, because he is, well, a fucking coward, and what I really want to do is murderate this thing.
Okay, well, give me your intimidation and.
I'm also not really
Strength,
bothered
I think.
intimidating it, to be honest. I probably won't even. In fact, come to think of it, I probably won't even bother screaming, or I'll do it on the way to attacking.
Okay, so just swinging for him.
You know how she tends to sort of go for the throat.
All right. So, what are you attacking with?
Axes.
Your axes. Okay, give me your strength plus melee.
That is 3 successes. One of them not on the thing, not on the hunger dice. Is a 10.
So you go in, you swing both axes.
Not
going for the head, going for the body.
I'm lunging forward, and basically I'll have the axes will be like sheathed or shoved through my belt. So basically, shooting right forward, drawing them like cross motion while I'm at it, and my plan is basically to cross slam them right across his jugular and take it out. My plan is basically to take that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. No problem. You take your step forward, you draw your axes, and you just swing in this horizontal motion, just trying to take his head clean off. And it all looks good. You have all your strength behind this hit, and then all of a sudden they are stopped as 2 of his arms grab both your wrists and stop the axes in mid-flow.
Oh, the bastard! You're cheating, bastard! Extra arms are cheating.
Extra arms.
The foot that he had raised to stomp on this creature, he turns and looks to boot at you. If you could give me your dexterity and athletics, please.
That is just 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay.
That's probably not.
Right. His foot. As he turns his body and just slams his foot straight into your chest, when it smashes you across the room, and slams you against the back door. When you take 2 superficial damage, you've got slightly sore ribs. Let's put it that way. Happy days. Okay, Happy. What are you up to?
Well, I'm actually going to make use of modern technology. I've actually been looking at my character sheet thinking, how do I get a message to the rest of my group? I'm thinking, I've got a fucking phone. I'm actually taking my...
See, this is where being from the more modern world is helpful, because Out has thoroughly stopped thinking remotely in modern world terms, round about the point that she was taking drug dealers' heads off, and is currently probably not even currently thinking in English, let alone anything else. So
basically, I'm going to phone Rose and say, in severe trouble, could use help, get to this address.
Okay, in combat, I'm going to.
I mean, I've essentially stepped back to let Shalva launch himself at this guy.
Yes.
Which is
absolutely.
fair. It's fair. It's like standing out the way of the
So I'm gonna. That is gonna. I'll have to say that'll be your action. If
No, I'm expecting that to be my action this turn.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
More than reinforcements would be quite nice, assuming that they haven't been chopped up by the people in the necropolis.
Your hand
Rose,
down.
I'm feeling judged.
Me too.
Rose, you receive a call as you're stepping out the archway of this crypt. Just stepping out, you hear your phone ringing.
Hello?
Are you both alive?
Yes.
We could really use some help. We're dealing with two really fucking dangerous vampires.
You can hear combat in the background. Rose, you know it's going to take you at least 25 minutes to get there, maybe.
Yeah,
20.
we are not close. It'll be like half an hour before we get there.
It might still be necessary. This could be going on for a while.
Okay, we'll get over there as quickly as we can.
That'd be nice.
I mean, but I kind of think by that time someone will have called the cops, but maybe not. It is Ghurka.
That will, bring a mop to.
Yeah, we'll at the very least bring what bits of you we can back.
Go team!
What do you call that thing that you like scrape, like you flip pancakes with?
Spatula.
Oh, a spatula.
Yeah, bring a spatula.
Fish slice.
Oh, you think there'll be enough of you for a spatula? That's very awesome.
But yeah, once we get, we will try and scoot quickly, I reckon, down to where Duncan is waiting and tell him to go.
Awesome, guys. Right, shall we call it? Shall we call it there for now? I think that phone call was a pretty good place to leave.
Yeah.
It. That's good.
I'm not wanting to say anything against the game. All I will say is on Google Maps, Ghurka Street to Glasgow Necropolis by car, 10 minutes.
And this is during COVID.
Okay, I'll give you 10 minutes. I'll give you 10 minutes. That's fair. In fact, if it's COVID, there's no traffic. I'll give you 5.
Excellent. And it's the middle of the night. There's no traffic at all.
Exactly.
It's still only 5. However,
awesome, guys. Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Thank you, guys. Brilliant fun. Thank you, Sim.
So on
I loved it. Thank you.
Continue the combat against these two horrifying vampires.
I don't think the guy with the 4 arms is a vampire.
Ben's experience with the previous editions is making him pee himself.
Something Naga-ish somehow.
Yeah.
He'll be dead soon.
Okay. If it's actually something Naga-ish, be more worried.
I will say that right now, I don't think I was just particularly open to Mr. Sanity. Yeah, I'm sorry, everything is just kept on. Our plan was just to leave and then deal with your horrifying visions, but turns out horrifying things turned up.
Yep.
If we survive, you can tell us all about it.
It's almost like we're in a world of darkness.
I know, right?
Yay! We love the world of darkness.
Rest well, my friends.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for dressing up as well. You look fantastic. And look forward to next time where we'll all be dressed up, for sure.
Yay! Have a good one. Rest well.
Yeah, looking forward to sleep. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I hope you managed to get some sleep, Sim.
Cheers.